As long as someone gets it started.
Okay, so here we are. Nice to see you again, ladies.
Then,
Okay, so yeah, so let's talk about where we are at now, our own experience with healing, our own modality, and where we are at, if we see any differences through the years and what we have accomplished. And so I can start. It will be brief. meaning meaning healing has become something so much more than just resolved your issues, in your body.
ooh,
Healing has become, for me and for many people in my field, um, a mind body spirit shift of consciousness. Once that is done, it's like another vibration, and something opened up in your life, and healing happened.
mhm,
So it's a broader thing than just, it's nothing new. People have been talking about that since 2000, with these kind of new wave things, about healing is more than just, oh, I don't have a headache anymore. No, it's bigger than that. So in
mhm,
my life, I've realized when I let go, because we all have things to work on, obviously, we are all human. When I let go of little things that I was holding on to, it's like there's more space in my life. And also getting older, there's other things coming up, like I would never trade my body to go back to my 20s. No, no, no. I'm 65. I love my body. I have gained so much lightness, energy growth, chi expansion, all of that, that makes my healing still expanding to something more. And that's what I want to share with other women, and take people to that level of consciousness. Open up to who you truly are with your potential, your mind body connection. There's this famous scientist, Jude Currivan, who said, like many others, but I have her name in my head, who said the biggest disease, I'm paraphrasing her, but the biggest disease on earth is the belief of separation.
mhm,
So once you reconnect really with your essence, it's like something else is moving.
mhm. I love that. Yeah, and I kind of in the same place as that. I used to believe that we had to fix things as a healer because that was healing was all about, is just fixing something. And now my understanding is we need to ignore what's broken and we need to focus on the brilliant light that we truly are, and that everything else will just come back into balance. And so that's how my work has changed. It's not about finding what's wrong with you so we can fix it. It's like, what have you not been seeing all this time that's really who you are? And that we can really bring that into light so that it kind of overpowers all the things that you think aren't working, and they come back into balance naturally. So it's a it's changed for me, and it feels like where I'm going to be going in the future.
I think healing, yes, it becomes a journey of spiraling into shadows, understanding what the shadows are and not ignoring them, but getting curious about them, which is what I have gone through. So it's like, why is this coming up for me again? And so to me, when I think about healing, it's stepping out of looping out of emotional loops, physical loops, patterns, and repatterning myself so that I can fully embody who I am by integrating the shadows and understanding them, not trying to fix them, but integrating them and having them inform my steps as I step forward, not only personally, but professionally too. And so looking at healing as a an invitation to understand who you are, what it is you need, and getting curious about your state of mind, state of body, and state of spirit. And at any given point, you must reintegrate again and again until you fully embody what it is and who you are. So that's what it means to me. How about the two queens down there? Yes, Miss Sharon.
Yes, so gorgeous. And it's interesting because as you've all been speaking, I realized, when I first got into my practice, the word healing was something I would try to move as far away from. And now I actually feel a little more connected to it, which is fascinating. And what's changed is the face of perfection. And that is just obliterated now. And for me, healing really is how can I and those that I serve really choose life. I really choose to say yes to more life and more
Ooh.
life and more life. And that also includes death. That also includes all the cycles we were speaking about earlier, cycles, seasons, stages, aging, all of it. And, I went through something recently where I'm experiencing some of the greatest physical, I'll call them sensations, but I won't undermine the pain that my body also has been in. And it's literally like I'm birthing and going through contractions all the time. And this experience is reminding me that healing for me now and how I hold women is how even in that can I choose pleasure? Can I choose ease? Ease with whatever is going on, knowing there's such a wider, vaster wisdom that I am a part of, and it's taking care of this. And I do not need to spend one more of my precious hour of life trying to figure out what's going on. I can just breathe, and that is, the grace of healing. It just moves things and moves them where they need to go. So
Ooh.
very nuanced, so incredibly nuanced.
Mhm.
Incredible.
Mhm.
I agree with everything that you guys said, and my thoughts on it are like you guys talked about alignment. Healing is alignment, it's integration, it's disintegration, even, right? Like Sharon talked about. Um, and I don't historically tend to even use the word healing much. And for me, healing is though it's a real part of life, but I think it's not just emotional or spiritual. It's even um like systematic, it's structural, because healing might look like you said, Sharon, when you talked about releasing this idea of perfection. That means like letting go of prior conditioning around what I was even trying to be perfect about, you know what I mean? So it's like separating from things that are not necessarily yours. Maybe you inherited them, maybe they were conditioned in or whatever, but they're not honestly who you are. So healing is more like it could be removing oneself from certain environments. It could be removing other people from near you, in order to protect what is honestly who you really are and were meant to be. So it is like a return to self. It's a return to truth. It's a removal of patterns that don't serve us and people also in a way. So that's been my experience, and I agree with that releasing of perfection, because for me, most recently, I've just accepted that some of the things I used to do or believe or portray, it was like it was something that I was trying to look like. It wasn't my honest needs or anything like that. It was just like I want to be like this, so I'm going to do that. But healing meant for me to be more honest about, no, this is actually what I want. This is actually what I need, and then sitting in that, even if it doesn't look like the picture perfect image that I was trying to put forth before.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Ooh.
because that reminds me we have a tendency, it's normal, you know, we have this idea, this concept of what it is. I would like to become a healthy person doing this. You have an idea, but this idea is very often generated of course by the ego and its limit. So when once you start letting go of that, you realize there's something else coming up. Your true self is coming up. And this new image is actually the perfect one, not what you had in mind, you know, in that sense. And also, the other thing I've noticed, it's since the 2000, the beginning of the 21st century, you know, we had a lot of, nowadays and since then, we have so much information. Add to that the quantum healing, whatever that is. You know, we have so much information. So the point now that most people are in the field are realizing is people know enough. Knowing is not going to lead you anywhere. You have to embody it. So nowadays, it's about becoming it. So let's talk about big concept, but don't get attached to those concepts. Become what that thing is resonating for you. You know, become it. It's enough of blah blah. So in other words, get to action now. You know, we all
Mm.
know what we need to do to be better, you know, in our health, in our diet or whatever. But healing is more than diet. You can eat all the organic food and still have issues. So at some point is just become it. Embodiment is now the new one of the steps. Transformation to your true self is really what makes a big difference. And we see it also in all geopolitics things going on. People have had it, you know. Now it's about what do we do now? You know,
What do we
what
do
do I do
now?
in my life? What do I do with my hands to make it happen, you know, in my
Yes.
life? Yeah.
I think too, what's coming up for me and very strongly is healing is also loss of people, loss of patterns that you relied on to keep you safe, loss of environments, loss of systems that have perhaps sustained you to a certain point, and now you have to integrate a new system in order to transform into your next self. Because women, as we all know, rebirth and rebirth and rebirth ourselves out of sometimes necessity, out of absolute, maybe out of trauma, but we rebirth ourselves. And we do that because we can. And we have to adapt. And we get to adapt and choose that for ourselves. But in the process, we are losing things on the way. Sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes not so good, but the loss is there. And there's a grief that comes with that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And no attachment. No
No
attachment to
attach.
it.
Ooh, there you
You
Well
know,
go.
said.
no
Well
attachment.
said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know,
Mm.
we always ask, "Oh, Latoya, how are you?" And, "Oh, I'm not feeling well." No, no, no. And we always question. Like for example, I'm angry, very angry. Well, it's like anger is bad. No, you know, we never if someone says, "Oh, I'm feeling well," you're not going to say, "How come you're feeling well?" You know,
Oh,
we take that for granted, or we
yeah.
take it as a standard, the default. No, the moment you start asking yourself, "Oh, I feel so cool today, so great," why? You know, it's a stupid question. But what I mean is, why do we ask only when things don't go the way we want? You know, so don't get attached to good, bad. I'm
Mm.
fine, I'm this, or I'm so sad again, yeah, I'm angry. Don't get attached. Don't get attached. Always return. It's easy to say, don't get me wrong, but always return to your
Yeah.
purpose in this life. That's my new mantra now. Get back to your purpose. Whatever you feel it is now. In 2 years, it may be shifting, but right now, my purpose is that I realign with it. There's
Hmm.
good things, there are bad things, quote unquote, happening in life, but all is part of this universe. Nothing comes out of the universe like a bacteria attacking your body. It's part of it. It is. It is what it is. Yeah. So, well, it's a
Oh, we're
wonderful subject. We can talk
we're
forever.
speechless. We're speechless
Yeah.
today, girls. We're kind of like leveling the playing field
Yeah.
today. We're
Yeah.
like,
No,
here
but
it is.
uh, but same thing with you. I know you have been talking to your colleagues and other people, and people know somehow what we talked about. People know that already, but we have a tendency to put it under the carpet and go back to our default. And that's
Ooh,
what we need to break. What I wish also some of you, if you see me do something, remind me, Vivian, go back to your center, because we forget and we should not. And that's the way we support each other, you know. Let's go back. It's nothing new. What we said, what I said is nothing new, but we forget. Let's not forget. Yeah,
ooh,
that's
amazing.
it.
Just incredible.
So the last word, I'm sorry, I will have to stop here. The last word from each of you before we close.
Thank
Mm,
you.
yeah. Appreciation.
Breathing.
Margarita. That's all I got right now. It's literally all I have right now. That's my capacity. Margarita.
Last time it was a cookie, and now it's
Yeah, we see where this is all going.
Feed me, feed me, feed me. I
oh
don't
my
know.
God. Let's all reach our purpose and let's be a happy. Let's make it a happy humanity. Good,
Okay. Thank you,
good.
happy
Okay.
humans. Be happy humans.
Yeah. Bye, girls. Thanks.